All righty. We are live. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to this meeting, this great conversation. We have a great guest here tonight. First, I'm gonna give a little quick background and introduction. If you have not been paying attention, the Birmingham Water Works is headed for a takeover in Montgomery. We have the supermajority, but one of the things we wanted to do was give a little background and history. And just gonna go ahead and say we start with Brother William Muhammad. He was on the Waterworks board. He knows the history. He's gonna give a little information about the bill, and I will share the bill once he gets to talking. But I don't, want to belabor. I think this is, I know this is something that's really big for every resident that's affected by that gets Birmingham Waterworks. So, Brother Muhammad, I guess the first question, because I told somebody today, I'll let you give a disclaimer and myth that people believe that the Birmingham Waterworks is in trouble financially because they believe the sewer debt is tied to Birmingham Waterworks. So, I'll let you answer that, and you can just start wherever you want to.
Well, the Birmingham Waterworks don't have anything to do with the sewer other than they have a contract to collect the sewer for the county. And so Birmingham, the water business is a finance intensive business. So Birmingham Waterworks has a lot of debt because it costs a lot of money to do pipe and road and the things you have to do to maintain a water system. But it's not in any trouble. Birmingham Waterworks has a budget of $200 million a year budget. It has assets that clearly underestimated at $5 billion. We got 4,000 miles of main. That's the pipe that's in the middle of the street. We got 4,000 miles of almost, from here to California and a part of the way back. That's not talking about the pipe that run to the house, the service line. That's not talking about the land, the lakes, the building. When I was at the Birmingham Waterworks 2 years ago, the price was, it cost $1 million a mile to replace pipe. So if you look at 4,000 miles of pipe, I mean, somebody who is good at math and likes to do math, just multiply that by 4,000 miles. And then now it's gone up. I've been told it's gone up to $1.5 million per mile of pipe. So, and that's just main. That ain't all the pipe that Birmingham Water. So Birmingham Waterworks is financially in good shape. It has a large debt because debt comes with water systems. When you have to do pipes, you have to do the other things there. It's an expensive system. One of the things, when I was on the Waterworks board, people just couldn't understand why the bill keep going up, but that's the nature of water systems. And I say that's the nature of water systems because people who work for the water systems, I don't know how many employees. I used to know exactly how many employees Birmingham Waterworks have, but people who work for the water system get paid good money. It's a specialized industry and all that. So, but the sewer debt is not connected to Birmingham Water. The Birmingham Waterworks is in trouble. And the trouble that we are in is the fact that ever since the waterworks was started, and I guess we can go through and do a little of the history. Birmingham Water Company was started when the city of Birmingham was started. So it was started in the 1800s. the Illington Land Company that founded the city of Birmingham, they also own the Birmingham Water Company. But at some point, they decided to sell the water, and they sold it to a private company. Now, that would bring us all the way up to the private company that bought it was American Water. American Water had put a 20-year option on them owning it. It might have been 50 years. I'm kind of going off the top of my head. But when that option came up, it gave the city of Birmingham the opportunity to buy the waterworks. That happened in 1951. The city of Birmingham did a $20 million bond deal to buy the waterworks. They bought the waterworks. Well, you know, in 1951, nobody up there at the city of Birmingham looked like me and you. So they decided that the best thing to do, and I understand because, you know, maybe white people could get along and that type of thing, but they decided that they didn't want politics involved in the water. So they decided to incorporate the Birmingham Waterworks Board under Title 11 in Montgomery. That's how the state got involved in it. They made it an entity, an authority. When they did that, they did it to keep politics out of the water. But ever since Obama was elected, Arthur Davis ran for governor, the Republicans were able to gain a supermajority in the House, meaning everybody white that was a Democrat, they either encouraged them to come over and become Republicans, or either they teamed up against them and got them out of office. When that happened, ever since they had a supermajority, they have really been able to be successful in taking control from the state level of the Birmingham Waterworks. Now, Jabbo Wagner, who is a Republican senator out of Vestavia, Jabbo has been putting in bills for years. Mayor Richard Arrington said that he was mayor here in Birmingham for 20 years, and he said that it was a bill came up every year that he was mayor. We found bills that came up when Mayor Bernard Kincaid was mayor. So Jabbo has been working on this his whole career. Finally, when they gained a supermajority, it was then they were in the position that they could do something to take over the Waterworks Board. And how they did that, they came forth with the argument that Birmingham shouldn't be the only one that should choose who would be on the board. So they expanded the board. That was 6 years ago. They added 3 more seats. They added not 3 because it was 5-member board. Now they added 4 more seats. And the way those went was they gave the mayor 2 appointments, the city council 4 appointments, and then they gave Blount County, that has Inland Lake that the Birmingham Waterworks owns, and they wrote the bill saying that if you had customers in the county outside of Birmingham, you should have a member on the board. Blount County had Inland Lake. We have very few customers in Blount County, but they had Inland Lake, so they got an appointment to the board. Shelby County has 15,000 customers out of 200,000. They got an appointment to the board. And then the Jefferson County Mayors Association, an organization of past mayors in Jefferson County, they ended up getting an appointment to the board. So that's when they really took over at that point. But that was 6 years ago. So now, State Representative Carnes from Vestavia has introduced House Bill 177, and he keeps talking about this supposed to be a regional board. It was made a regional board 6 years ago when you gave Blount County and Shelby County part of it, because that was Jabbo's law. So he used all of the complaints that people had about what's going on lately, with the water boards as far as billing is concerned. The water board was saying that because of the pandemic, that's why they were low on people being able to work, and that affected them being able to read meters. So Carnes used stuff that Mayor Wolfen said on Facebook, and I don't feel that Mayor Wolfen should have said what he said on Facebook, and now we see why. Because it's coming back to bite us in the butt. But I do have to say, I felt like Mayor Wolfen saved the waterworks from where it was at the time, because he forced off his appointee, Chris Rice. And Chris Rice was the worst person who had ever been on the waterwork in my knowledge. He was strictly out for himself and his puppet master. So now Carnes is coming up with a bill. You had a bill on the screen so people can see it. And he's come up with a bill saying it shouldn't be for 7 members, because Representative Carnes said he a businessman and 7 members is enough. So he started the bill off by saying 4 would be the mayor's appointees from the appointing city, Birmingham, and then the governor would appoint 3. Well, the governor told Mr. Carnes that she didn't want to have nothing to do with that, take her name off the bill. So he took the governor's name off the bill, and he gave Blount County, Shelby County, and the Mayor's Association their appointments back. The mayor got his 2 appointments, but he cut down the city of Birmingham City Council's appointment to only 2 instead of 4. So now it's going to be 2 for the mayor, as his House Bill 177 is saying, 2 for the city council, and then each one of those outside entities has 1, makes it 7 members on the board. As soon as this bill passes, immediately everybody on the board now falls off. And that is absolutely crazy. I went up to the city council today and I told him, that is absolutely crazy. You have a $200 million operation. That's the budget. The operating budget is $200 million. That's employees and all that. And then the minute you pass that bill, everybody on the board falls off. The old bills, all of the old bills stated that you stayed on until somebody replaced you. That's called a contingency. But immediately on the Carnes takeover bill, all of the board members on that now fall off, and they have to be reappointed. So, and then after they're reappointed, his bill is calling for them then to hire a CEO. So you're telling the person that you're leaving in charge that it's a chance they're gonna go, a good chance. Because I got to feel, and this just came to me today, but I got to feel that if Carnes put that in, as long as he's been in government, if he put that in the bill for the old board to fall off immediately, then he must know who he's gonna put on there. He's already saying that he's gonna change the name of it the way it won't be Birmingham Water Works no more. He got that in the bill. He's gonna change the name so that we'll quit coming down there talking about it belongs to the city of Birmingham. But I say it belongs to the city of Birmingham because the city of Birmingham bought it. They put it under a structure that they thought would keep politics from being involved in it, but that day has changed now. Probably interfering with it 6 years ago, they expanded the board to become a regional board. Now they come back and want to reduce the members and say you got to have an engineering degree or you got to have a degree in finance to be on the board. So they are really taking the board away from the people who own it, the people who paid the $20 million bond deal to buy it. The state didn't give it to us. You know, the state feds didn't give us no grant to start the Waterworks Board. That came from the money of the people in Birmingham and the money of the ratepayers all the years it's been going on, ever since the 1860s, that's been paying water bill and buying water. So that's basically the history. And I don't want to just get boring going on and on. Maybe somebody might have a question or something.
Well, the first thing I want everybody to understand, let me go back. Hey, Lonnie, Lonnie Malone is on here as well. The guest that we have today is Brother William Muhammad. William Muhammad has been a strong activist in the community. He, I often tell people the real issue that we have with Birmingham right now is who speaks for Birmingham. And many people have heard me say it. In 1962, they did a documentary. Birmingham, citizens of Birmingham, with our money purchased the waterworks at that time. It wasn't like Brother Muhammad just said, they didn't give us a grant. They didn't give us a loan. It was our money. That's the reason why it's called Birmingham Waterworks.
Right.
And we have to understand that. So we're calling this a takeover. If you read the bill, it's already been taken over to an extent. But now this is a crucial, this is a total takeover if it's done this way. But we wanted to get the information out to people. We want you to share this. The reason we're doing this also is we're bringing facts. This is not our opinion. This is if you're upset with us, you're upset with the history of the Birmingham Water Works, you would be upset with Brother Carnes for bringing this bill. And Brother Muhammad, would you talk about you all going to Montgomery and
okay. We Representative John Rogers had promised us when we heard that there was a bill down there. It was undercover, but we kept asking him, "What does the bill say?" He said, "I hadn't seen it. It's talking about it, but it hadn't been dropped." So once the bill was dropped, Representative John Rogers called me. He had promised us that he would give us 24-hour notice before we went to committee. And so really he called me last Monday afternoon and told me the bill had been dropped, and he told me what room they were going to be meeting in on Wednesday, went to committee. We worked to try to get people to go down to protest. In fact, my Muslim brother Walter Urami from the Crescent Center over in West End, he offered early Tuesday morning, he offered that he would take his van, a Mercedes Striper, seats 10 people, very comfortably, and he would offer the service of his van, and that he would drive for anybody who wanted to go up to where we can fit 10 people in there, and that he wouldn't charge anything. All we needed to do was help with the gas. So we got together, we talked to a lot of people, but most of the time, people who, grassroots people have to work, or they have children they have to take care of. So we couldn't get but a few people who were able to go on the last minute notice. So we went on down, we found out that the bill was, when we got there,
hold up for just a second. Brother Muhammad, we lost you for a second.
Yeah, we went to the room where it was. They were about to have another meeting, so we left. We came back. When we came back to the room, it was locked. So we went and found out who it was that could open the room and let us back in. They opened the room and let us in. We were in the room like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the meeting. We was in the room like 1 o'clock. The security people came in and they told us we were all right. And they said that they were going to put a sheet out for people who wanted to speak for or against the bill. And they promised us that we would be able to speak first because we would have 2 hours before the meeting started. Now, while we were sitting there waiting, 1 hour people informed me that what they usually do, they're going to look at the list and they're going to take like the first 5 people. So just as she told me, when they finally put the list out, then a guy who worked for the legislature, he had on a badge that said he worked for the legislature. He came over to the list and started writing down people's names. We complained about the fact that we had been there since 1 o'clock, and the security people had promised us, since it was first come, first served, we would be the first one named on the list. But he wrote down a bunch of people's names. So when the chairman of the committee, who was Carnes, had to turn this issue over to the co-chair, I forgot what this white guy's name was, but he turned it over to him. Then first thing he said was, well, it's 11 people who have signed up to speak, so we're going to go with about 5. And then those 5 people were the people from the Birmingham Water Works. And one of them, the last person, happened to be Representative, one of them, Gavane, that the same white guy wrote her name on. So when he said that, then Brother Walter Urumny got up and started raising hell like we were going to turn it out. I had just accepted. I had to bear with me because I was told that's the way it was going to go down. But he didn't accept it. He got up and started raising hell. This not right, you know. And when he began to raise hell, then you can see them getting a little nervous. And then Representative Wanda Gavan said, well, I can give my time up so that they can speak. So when he said that, my name was behind hers, so I got the opportunity to speak. And I'm trying to recall what I said. As best I recall, I said that Carnes had talked about the waterworks was sold from the city of Birmingham to the state in 2001. I guess it was in the William Bell era and taking it back and all that. So when I spoke, I said, hey, you didn't go back far enough. You didn't go back to 1951 when the citizens of Birmingham did a bond issue. They bought it from a private company. The state didn't give it to them, didn't give them nothing for it, didn't have nothing to do with it. It was decided by the people who were on the city council then. And maybe Bull Connor was one of them people. I guess we had to go back and look who was on there in 51. But whoever those people were decided to put it under an authority. That authority was called the Birmingham Water Works Board and Sewer. They did that so that local politics wouldn't interfere with the water. But now I told him that they're interfering with it all the time. They're trying to run it from Montgomery. It had nothing to do with it, don't own it, because it's under that state authority Title 11 bill. So when I said that, then another thing kind of came to my mind, and that was something that John Rogers had told me a long time ago. I don't even know if it's proper to say this on Facebook. I might get blacked out, but John Rogers told me a story a long time ago that Alvin Holmes, the great Alvin Holmes that was down there for a long time, was from Montgomery. And he said that Alvin Holmes told him that one of the white Republicans said to him, you know, Alvin, said it used to be that all of the blacks that came down here was civil rights activists. But he said, now, these N-words is all businessmen. So that was on my mind. So I looked over to where our representatives were sitting, and I said to them, hey, we ain't sent y'all down here to be businessmen. And we ain't sent y'all down here to make deals. We sent y'all down here to advocate for us. So I told them we want to slow things down. We want to hold up everything down there. Then I turned and looked at Mark Purnell, the head of the Brookside Mafia, I call him, who's also the lawyer for the Birmingham Water Works. He's the consigliere of the Brookside Mafia. I turned to him and looked at him and said, y'all getting all this money from the waterworks, $1.2 million a year budget. And they spending every penny of it. I said, I want y'all to tie this up in court. If it passed, tie it up. My plan was, I didn't say this to him, but keep this tied up in court. I don't want Carnes, if it passed, I don't want Carnes to be living when it come out of court. I want him to be dead when it comes out of court. If they get $1.2 million a year for doing that, take this up to every court you can, tie it up as long as you can. So when I said that, it wasn't my intention to be so passionate, but I think the passion motivated people. And they had the vote. When they had the vote went down 6-5 for. So Carnes, he put it in his committees, commerce and small business. They had no business. It wasn't in no utility committee. It was under his committee, committee that he was the chair for, and he only got it out by one vote. And I've heard from some of the representatives that some of the Republicans that voted for it came to them and said they wish they hadn't voted for it because they could see what he was doing was interfering in the affairs of the city of Birmingham. And they said they wish they hadn't voted for it. But we were one vote away from locking it up in committee. So it barely made it out of committee. We don't know what Carnes gonna do. He didn't show up the next day, I heard. He hadn't put it on the calendar yet. I've heard rumors that he told one of the lobbyists that he don't plan on putting it on the calendar no time soon. The Senate, the head of the Senate is the pro tem. Well, he said he don't want to see it. The governor said she didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So, but I can't say we won because you can't trust the devil. And Carnes is the devil. You can't trust him. Now, that's what he's supposed to say. But we don't know whether he's going to do that. So I wanted to say we plan on having a town hall meeting this Monday, the 24th, at 5 p.m. at Lawson State Community College in the Ward field. We want to have that meeting so that people can come out and they can ask whatever questions they want to ask. They can say whatever they want to say, but we want to let the people know what's going on because most of us, we have the problem we have in Birmingham. One of the reasons we have it is that we don't have nobody in Montgomery who is watching the people who we send to Montgomery. We don't have a lobbyist. The waterworks got 3 lobbyists down there. The mayor got a lobbyist down there. The city council depends on the mayor's lobbyist. The county commission got a lobbyist down there. But the people don't have anybody down there lobbying for them. The people don't even have anyone who would go down there and just, we need to arrange to where we can pay somebody to go down there and come back and tell us what's going on that work for us. So that's why we're having this meeting. Monday, we put it on a Monday so that the legislators could come. People can ask them questions. People can ask them to support it. We plan on calling all of the Black legislators from around the state. And we plan on calling them and asking them to help Birmingham. If they do us this solid, if they help us, we'll owe them. And we'll get our representatives to help them when they need help. But we want to slow stuff down to a crawl down there in Montgomery. We don't want no bill to pass. We want everybody going to the mic. Word is, nobody goes to the mic from Jefferson County but John Rogers and Mayor Moore. We got to make sure that the 8 that we got down there go to the mic. Hey, I don't care how you feel about how you not knowledgeable or you just got down there. Go to the mic and read the Bible. You got so much time you could take to slow stuff down. I'll give you a message to the black man from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Go to the mic and read that. I'll give you a Quran. Go read that. Read your cookbook. Do whatever. Talk about whatever you talk about, whatever you need to talk about. But let's slow stuff down and show them that we ain't going to have them interfering with us. And we got to do all we can. And we need the support of the people. We need the people to get behind folks that they send down there because I just got that feeling. I love my brothers and sisters. I accept them. I know everybody got some flaws. I got plenty, you know. I'm not no way, no perfect man. Very imperfect. But, and I understand and grown at the age of 71, I should be able to accept imperfection in people who we send to Montgomery to represent us. But now everybody got to come. Let's work together to save our investment. It was our $20 million bond issue that's turned that into a $5 billion asset It's the richest asset in the state of Alabama, second only to Alabama Power. So, and we own it, and we can't let nobody say you don't own it because in 2001 you gave it away. I mean, you got to show me, what money passed hands, and who did we give it away to? The state? Did the state give us $20 million back for it, or any amount of money? $5 billion to take it over? Did a private company do it? No. So that's Karn's contention. But all right, I guess I was long-winded in answering the question now.
Alani, see if he's here. See if he had any questions. If he's still on, but because I'm gonna recap. What we're discussing today. We're discussing with our brother William Muhammad. I call him he's the activist. He's speaking for Birmingham. He's on the Birmingham Water Board. He's been very vocal when he was on the board.
I was on the board.
Yeah, when he was on the board. Yeah. And since he's been off the board.
Right.
And I want to thank him, and we need to thank him, because a lot of people, when you serve on boards, you don't just, you get a lot of information and expertise how things work.
Right.
And we have to thank Brother Muhammad, because if he didn't speak about the Waterworks Board, we wouldn't know a lot of the information, because there's a lot of tactics that are used to make us be silent and play games. I remember years ago when Jabbo Wagner brought his bill, the thing that I found very interesting was his dad, if I'm not mistaken, in 51 was leading the group that with the bond for Birmingham to purchase the waterworks for the city of Birmingham. So, I'm one of those people, and I tell people this: when things are in our face, we debate things. The only thing that changed with the city of Birmingham from that time until now is the skin color of majority leadership.
I want to add something to your history too. His dad, Jabbo Wagner Sr., Jabbo Sr., was the first Birmingham resident to serve on the board. That board in 51 had 3 white people from Mountain Brook on it. When they first created the Birmingham Water Works Board, 3 whites from Mountain Brook was on the board. Jabbo was the first Birmingham citizen to serve on the board. So I guess Jabbo Jr., Jabbo too, feel like it's his. It's his family inheritance. So he's been messing with it for a good 30, 40 years now. That's been his life work.
So I wanted to say on Facebook, Brother Muhammad, you had someone, Miss McClure, Natasha McClure told you hello. Vara Johnson, she's on. She said they're trying to take the water from the people of Birmingham. She's correct. We're gonna get taxation with no representation. That's what I've been thinking about as Brother Muhammad has been talking. We better wake up, because once they do this, it will be a law and it will be changed immediately. Immediately. Those of you that are on Facebook, look in the link. I shared the link with the bill, HB 177. I also shared the history of the Birmingham Water Works Board. We need to know the history. That's what Brother Muhammad is telling us, the history. Mm-hmm. But he's also connecting this bill. And also, he just talked about something that I told my wife earlier. It's the assets. Right. Say it again, Brother Muhammad. Only Alabama Power in the state of Alabama is worth more than the
Birmingham Water Works Board, which, like I said, this is under evaluation. Under evaluation of $5 billion. Now, when I say under, the way they evaluate utilities is this: they don't let you add up what it costs you to put them in there. There ain't no inflation involved in that. When I was up there, it cost $1 million a mile to put in pipe. Now it costs $1.5 million. Everything has gone up. Ice cream used to cost $3.99, Bluebell that I like. Now it's almost up to $9 after the pandemic. So everything has gone up. Pipe has gone up to $1.5 million, but they only let you add up for what it cost you the first time to put it in there. The land, whatever it cost you at first, and that still adds up to $5 billion worth of assets in buildings, lakes, water, land, what all produce, and then pipe 4,000 miles of Maine. Maine is the pipe in the middle of the street. It's 4,000 miles of that. You could go to California and probably halfway back to Texas if you put that pipe in a straight line. That's how much pipe the Birmingham Water Works on. It's the biggest waterworks in the state of Alabama, which brings up another point, that they always write the bill up. It started with Jabo. This was one of the first things they discussed with Carnes, Representative Carnes. Shouldn't this just be Birmingham's business? He said, no, they are a regional board, because he said the law states that if you have customers in 4 counties other than the county you station in, that makes you regional, which is bull sugar honey iced tea. But that's what they use to write these bills, where they only affect Birmingham. See, it would be prejudice. It would be perhaps racist if you use the name Birmingham. If you look at the bill that you put out there, Birmingham is not in there, because that would be indefensible in court, that you made a statewide bill so that you know that you got the majority in the state. You didn't put it, see, if it was a local bill, which is supposed to be, it only would affect the Jefferson County delegation. So the delegation number is 9 Republicans, and I think 2 of them don't even live in Jefferson County.
They don't.
Maybe 3 don't live in Jefferson County. And then they gave us 8 Democrats. That's at the Supreme Court right now. But still, 9 to 8 is a number that you can fight. You can tie up everything that's in the local delegation of 9 to 8. So what they did was made this a statewide bill by not putting the name Birmingham in it. They put in there any utility that has customers or a reservoir in 4 counties other than the county that they are operating in, then this bill applies to them. So that's the trickery that they use to try to take our waterworks. Because when we get down to it, the only thing is that everything was all right at the waterworks. Before, when white people were on the board, they were getting paid. What's the state law say? Oh, the state law before I got on the board was that a board member should get paid the salary, 1 day's salary for a meeting of the highest paid employee for the board. So when white folk was on there, that was Mac Underwood, and I think he was making like $1,300 a day. So for every meeting you had, you was getting $1,300 back in what I call the good old days. So it was decided when they looked around and seen that, damn, the majority of the board has become black now, then it was decided they have too much meetings. They shouldn't be making that money. I didn't read it so much in the bill, but I heard somebody say that in Carnes' bill, he got it where you work for free on the Waterworks Board. But the Waterworks Board been there since '51, and nobody was ever asked to work for free until now that black people are the majority in the city and the majority on that board. You don't deserve to make the money. You're working for a $5 billion operation. You're making decisions over a $5 billion company that has a $200 million budget, operating budget. That's just employees and daily operations. It's $200 million a year, but you shouldn't be making a dime to do that. And so that's what they are trying to do, is put people in there so that black people can't get it. All of the years that whites was getting paid, they were getting paid $1,300 per meeting. It was people on the Waterworks Board that was making $70,000, $80,000. When I got on the Waterworks Board, and I want to say this, I know that Stephen Hort, Sheila Tyson, and Jonathan Austin asked me to be on the Waterworks Board, but God was the one that sent me over there. That's why you take me off the board, then you hadn't taken me away from helping Black people. I still have people calling me about their bills, and I still enjoy it. That's what I like the most. I still have employees that I talk to that have work situations. That's what I like the most, because even though Sheila Tyson and Stephen Hart and Jonathan Austin asked me to be on the board, it was God that sent me to do it. Because when Sheila called me and she said, William, we got something we want you to do. Can you meet us over here at this restaurant in Homewood? When I went over there, they told me, said, we want you to be on the Waterworks Board. And I said, where y'all get that crazy idea? I said, that's going to create a boo-boo storm. And they said, we don't care. So I said, okay, if y'all got balls enough to do it, I got balls enough to serve. And I really, found something that was my niche, something where I could serve people like I have been doing all the years before. So.
Brother Muhammad, will you tell them again about the meeting on Monday? Before you say that, for people that just joined, I'm watching people join on Facebook. We're here tonight talking about HB 177. We're calling it the Birmingham Waterworks Takeover Bill.
Right.
The Waterworks has already been taken over, but this will, and I shared the bill you look in the comments, I shared the bill in the history of the Birmingham Waterworks, so we will have the facts, and we arm you with the facts. Brother William Muhammad it was a former Birmingham Waterworks board member, and he has been vocal when he was on the board and since he's been off the board. Representative Carnes, I put the bill up earlier. Just want everybody to know, because once it's done, it's done. One of the things I want people to realize, Brother William Muhammad said, and you can look it up. In the state of Alabama, the only other entity that is worth more in assets is Alabama Power. Right. So the second is the Birmingham Waterworks. So that should let everybody know why they want control of it, and they don't want us really in this region. If we really would be honest with ourselves, that's one thing I want us to talk about a little bit more, Brother Muhammad. They're getting further and further from our region. In a little while, we're just gonna have people serving and appointing who don't even get any services at all from the Birmingham Waterworks. So tell them about the meeting on Monday night so people can come out and get more information.
Right. So we are having our special unity committee as part of the work of the Committee to Save Jefferson County, the Jefferson County Citizens Coalition, the Emery's group, what it is, the Jefferson County Progressive Democrats, and people of the Sheila Tyson's women's organization, Roundtable of Black Women, all of them. We've come together to have a town hall meeting. There will be a town hall meeting this Monday at Lawson State Community College at 5:00 in the Ward building. We are having this meeting, and we're having it on a Monday because the representatives, our state representatives, asked that it would be on a Monday because they are in Montgomery from Tuesday until Thursday evening. They said that we need to have a meeting on a Monday or Friday. So we chose this Monday, and we want everybody to help us. We want everybody to call and text and use your what is it on your phone where you have your database. Use your database to send that message out and ask everybody to come, because this is your water. This belongs to you. The city of Birmingham bought this water from American Water in 1951. They set up an authority to run it so it would be independent. But that was a bad idea. They never knew that Black people were going to become the majority in Birmingham. So when they set it up like that, now They left Birmingham and they couldn't take the water with them. So now they're trying to control it from where they went to outside of the city of Birmingham and outside of Jefferson County. So we want you to call everybody you know, text everybody you know. Come to the meeting, bring somebody to the meeting with you, ask your questions, get the right understanding, because as Brother Richard said, so many people don't understand the waterworks. The waterworks has had some problems that came about from the pandemic, and maybe some problems that the pandemic didn't have anything to do with, but it's still ours. We ain't gonna, what's that old expression? Throw the baby out. The waterworks is the baby. You ain't gonna throw the baby out with the bad water. It needs to be some things that can be changed, and we can change them. But if this bill passed, this bill will reduce the waterworks to 7 board members, 2 picked by the mayor, 2 picked by the city council, 1 picked by Blount County, 1 picked by Shelby County, 1 picked by the Jefferson County Mayors Association, and 1 person picked by the mayor has to have a background in either finance or engineering. 1 person picked by the city council has to have a background in finance or engineering. The person that Blount County picks has to have a background in finance and engineering. The person that Shelby County picks has to have a background in finance or engineering. The person that Jefferson County Mayors Association has to pick has to have a background in finance or engineering. So what am I saying to you? And nobody like me or you will be on that board. And as Brother Rich said earlier, that is taxation without representation. You won't have anybody who you can call, like people still call me, saying that my water got cut off. I had this situation. Can you help me? Who are you going to have out of that group that you can know that could be your neighbor and who can go out, who can call somebody to come give you help when you need help? You ain't going to have nobody representing you. All you're going to be doing is paying your water bill.
And I want to say something that Brother Muhammad said. If you read the bill, the one thing in this bill that did change the governor, and I want y'all to think about this. The bill has to be bad when the governor of the state of Alabama, Kay Ivey, to take me out the bill. Right. This is a local issue.
Right.
I want everybody to understand in the original bill, that's why we have it up, the original bill, the governor was supposed to get, two appointed people. The governor said
supposed to have 3 originally.
3, okay.
The mayor of Birmingham would have 4, and the governor would have 3. And so don't let nobody tell you, particularly our dear brothers and sisters who are representative, oh, this ain't so bad, we still got the majority. Please, don't let nobody tell you that. When I was on the board, it was 6 blacks on there chose from the city of Birmingham, and we didn't have a majority because 2 of us voted with the 3 whites. They had the majority until we finally got it when one of us fell off the board, but because of ethics issues. Don't listen at that, you got 4. Ooh, that ain't enough. I knew when Chris Rice was on there and the Birmingham City Council put Larry Ward on there. Larry Ward is representing Birmingham. He's placed on the board by Birmingham, but he's always voted with the 3 outside, AKA white board members ever since he's been up there. I knew that 5-4 was going to be the death knell of the Birmingham Water Board because, like I said, we had 6 blacks and 3 whites, and we didn't run it. It was ran, they were the majority. The 3 whites had 2 of our blacks voting with them. So don't let nobody tell you we still got the majority now. We need to have that control of the Birmingham Waterworks under the city of Birmingham. Bernard Kincaid was right. I had to admit it. He was right. Time dictates the agenda. Maybe the white people in 51 didn't want the city to have nothing to do with running it, but we can't afford to do that now because the Republicans all over the country are controlling black cities through using their legislature. Same thing is happening in Jackson. They want to pass a bill in Jackson to where they appoint the judges for Jackson because that's what we into, and it's happening all over the country. That's what happened in, where was it, Louisville? Where was it? Memphis? Where was it that they put the two young brothers?
Oh, that was
because they were
Tennessee. I forgot which part of Tennessee.
It was Tennessee, so it must have been in Memphis. But they put them off out of their seats because they were siding with people who were protesting against gun violence. And so that's what's going on. The plan, the Republican plan, the plan is that they would control these black urban areas that they left. They ran away from because they did not want to integrate with us. They did not want our children going to school with their children. They left, and now they're trying to control it from the state. And it ain't just started happening with the Waterworks Board. It's been happening ever since we had the Civil Rights Bill passed. Been happening ever since the 60s. So I want to reiterate, we're asking everybody to call your mama, call your auntie, call your friend, your cousin, tell them, please meet you out at Lawson State Monday at 5 o'clock at the Ward building. We want to inform you of everything that's going on with that bill, the good, the bad of it, any questions you got about the waterworks, we want to be able to answer them for you. Hopefully we'll get some people from the waterworks to come over there and answer. It won't just be me answering, which I could answer them, but some of the people who are operating and working now, they want to come answer. We want some of the white board members from the waterworks to come and answer your question, because Sheila Tyson had a town hall meeting that was dealing with the problems they were having with the billing systems, and none of the whites felt like they had to come because she had it in 5 points. So they didn't come. That's disrespectful. So we want to ask the white city council members. Some of us got, well, in districts where we have a white city council member, we want them to come. Otherwise, they don't respect us. And well, they may be racist then. So ask everybody you know, that's Monday the 24th. It's Monday coming, 5 o'clock, Lawson State in the Ward building. Get everybody out because we need to organize, strategize, and what's the other word? Let's see what we got there. Strategize, organize, and I forget what the third one is. It'll come. I done turned 71, so I have these senior moments.
Brother Muhammad, a comment was made. I want you this, and I forgot about this. Thank you, Ms. Terry Michael, because we kind of talked about this earlier. Me and you haven't talked about it openly. But what is, do we still have some of the cleanest water, as far as the, that, huh?
In the top 10 in the country, I would say in the top 5. And that's by EPA standards. The best water. I mean, people up north be telling people, relatives and stuff, they're going to Birmingham to bring them some water back. Now that might sound like I'm doing a comedy routine, but that's the truth.
We know from Flint. We know from a situation in Flint, Michigan.
Right.
And we can look at Jackson, Mississippi.
Right. Right. We in the possibly, I know we're in the top 10 water quality in the country, not in Alabama, in the country. And I feel we could be in the top 5 in the quality of our water.
The reason I wanted us to say that is because often the trickery that's played against our community is they make something look bad.
Right.
But an old crafty politician that's no longer with us, former Senator Fred Horn, would always tell me, if they tell you it's bad, it's of value.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is, I want to say this again, because most people don't talk about this and know this. Alabama Power, we all know, is the number one asset in the state of Alabama.
Right.
The number 2 asset in the state of Alabama is the Birmingham Water Works.
Right. And Richard, I want to speak to what you were saying about they always talk about. They never talk about its quality, the quality of the water. Carnes went a step that I ain't seen anybody go. He read from something that talking about the service was bad. I forgot this agency. These people that you have to pay. And if you don't pay them, they'll talk bad about you until you decide that you pay them to shut them up. But They never, what they always talk about, the narrative is management. They always say that, you know, they making too much money, or that used to be the narrative. But that wasn't the narrative from 51 up until black people became the majority on the board. Like I said, by state law. They got paid what state law said that you could get paid. And it was $1,300 a meeting by state law when white people were doing it. But as soon as blacks became the majority on the Waterworks Board, you know, I said, why they having so many meetings? Why they getting paid so much? And like you just said, the Senator Horn said, what they focus on is the bad because it's valuable. So they want to say the management is bad. But Birmingham Water Works, how can you have bad management and have good water? Ain't that kind of like oxymoron? How can the water be so good? The water in the top 5 in the country and the management bad. I don't know. I got to check that. It seems like that's like I said, oxymoron. Because bad is equal to bad water. But you got good water. But they saying you got folks who don't know what they're doing management. You need to let us.
So I just thought of something too. Well, we got to remember when these things were set up, we were not in power.
Right.
So I'm sitting here thinking Midfield, Fairfield, Birmingham, Bessemer,
right,
Pleasant Grove. We got to understand how this affects us. So when we say Birmingham, you got to understand if they can do this to us, they're doing it to you, because you look like us and you're in power in cities where things were set up at the time where they didn't want. So what they're doing is changing laws, even though they live somewhere else, to have control or influence. And they always say follow the money. Your sewer. We started off the myth that we wanted that everybody tells is that the Birmingham Water Works is not financially solvent because of the sewer crisis. And what did you say, Brother Muhammad?
Birmingham Water Works, all they do is collect the sewer. And in fact, you bring up a whole nother issue that we don't have time to talk about, but the county just gave Linda Coleman a bill, Linda Coleman Madison a bill that she put in to make the Birmingham Water Works collect for them at the state level, to force Birmingham Water Works into signing a contract for less money. And they used that as a cock gun at the head of the Birmingham Water Works board members, because they were going to go down to the state and gave her a bill, and she put it in. They were going to tell Birmingham Water Works that they had to collect for them, they had to give them the information, and they can only charge a certain amount. So I just wanted us, everybody, to understand, so we be on the same page on this. This Monday, the 24th, at 5 p.m. Come to Lawson State in the Ward building. There will be a meeting about this. You can ask all the questions. The purpose that we were doing tonight is Brother Muhammad, who he's actually been a long resident of the city of Birmingham. Big historian, knows the history of the waterworks. He's a former member of the Birmingham Water Works Board. There is a bill that Representative Carnes, HB 171, Brother Muhammad and a group of citizens went down, spoke against the bill in the committee. It was 9 members on the committee. The vote was 6-5, barely passed committee. And the bill that you see in the comments that I put in the comments on Facebook, and you've seen me put it up, the reason I do that is that you may not like us, and that's okay. But what you can't do is say we're not bringing factual information, because there is this bill. I also put the history of the Birmingham Water Works. And when we use black, white, the history of Birmingham and the state of Alabama, we can't change. In 1951, the city of Birmingham did a bond for $20 million. We purchased the Birmingham Water Works. They're not talking about giving our money back. What they're doing is they're doing a takeover. It started with Jabbo Wagner about 6 years ago, which that's Jabbo Jr.
Jabo Sr., what Brother Muhammad said, hey, if you study the history, he was the first person from the city of Birmingham
Right.
that was on the board, that served on the board. Mm-hmm. So if you, a lot of the rules and things that you hear them complaining about, they put it in place. We didn't put it in place. They put it in place. I'm saying a little different. But now that we are in the positions, there's an issue with it. So this is the thing. We, the citizens of Birmingham, if we have an issue with something, we should be able to say that we have an issue with it.
Right.
We want to hold, now I do want to say this. We want to get this bill and make sure it doesn't pass. But we also want our council and mayor and the people who appoint to know that we are watching now because you appoint. That is the other thing that a lot of citizens don't realize. Who appoints people to this board? And that's now. If this bill passed, in the bill, if you read it, immediately, the board, everybody changes. So that's why Brother Muhammad said, you know, we just use a little common sense. That means they already have people that they are going to appoint in mind right now.
Right. That's right.
I just want to recap everything that we've been saying because I know people coming on, but make sure Monday, the 24th at 5 p.m. at Lawson State in the Ward building, you are there or send somebody there. The reason this is important, we may have issues now, but we have the influence to where we could push to make change. If these things go through, you have no influence anymore.
Right. You have
now, I do want to say this. I have to give Governor Kay Ivey credit. And when I'm giving credit, I'm letting you know the bill is bad. In the original bill that we have up, Governor Kay Ivey said remove her from it. It should be a local issue. It shouldn't even be at the state level.
Right. That's true.
So it's on us as citizens to participate. In school, I don't care where you went, you got some form of civics. This is your opportunity. We're not going to tell you how to show you, just don't be violent now, Will. Let me say that, because we live in during violent times. But we have an opportunity to do our civic duty, because if we don't, this will affect us in our pockets. The reason I'm saying that, most people water bill, just your water portion, is between $35 and I think $65, to be honest.
Right.
They'll tell you if it's a leak. The sewer part is something different. We'll talk about that another time.
Right.
But we're talking about the water part.
And it's more than the water bill.
Way more. And Brother Muhammad has also told us that our water is in the top 10 in the nation with the water quality. So if you're looking on this camera and you're looking at this camera, you look like me. They say we don't often miss something till it's gone. I want you to think about the people in Jackson, Mississippi right now. They wish they were somewhere in any top anything. The people in Flint, Michigan, which I have visited, they have water issues. So Birmingham, in the midfield, I'm asking our people to stand up. And when I say stand up, you got to call down. You got to tell our representatives it's time that our delegation stand together. Make Carnes stand by himself. Make Carnes and Jabo Wagner stand by themselves, because this is a takeover. We know that we have issues, but they have issues as well. And I want to say this: do research, people. Brother Muhammad brought it to us back then when they were trying to take over. I think it was Moody. Was it Moody Water? They used to have water somewhere out there? They were having financial trouble, one of the water companies out there. And you got to understand why I'm talking about money, because they make it sound like Birmingham Water Works is broke. I'm going to say this again, and you can quote me, look it up. In the state of Alabama, Alabama Power is number 1 with assets. Number 2 is the Birmingham Water Works. And even though they don't say Birmingham Water Works in this bill, it's a line in the bill that says immediately the name will change. I want y'all to think about that. They're talking about regional, but if you really look at what's going on, it's getting further and further from our region. And if you were going to put the governor on it, the governor doesn't live anywhere near us.
Right.
But she did say, take me off, and she's not on in the bill anymore. So I don't know if y'all have any questions. Oh, I've got a question. Someone asked you, could you clarify what you just said about the bill given to Linda Coleman Madison?
I do my best. I got to send you that bill too.
Okay.
Brother Richard. The county gave Senator Linda Coleman Madison a bill to drop that bill is gonna make the waterworks. Yeah, this is a whole second hour conversation. What's going on with the waterworks is that state law says that any waterworks that collects sewer for a county can negotiate a fee for collecting from anywhere from 1% to 10%. And if they can't agree on the fee, then the price of the commission defaults to 7.5%. So that's state law right now. Okay. The county is giving Linda Coleman a bill, and she's dropped it. They say that how much the waterworks not the Birmingham Waterworks, using the same language that we fighting against in the takeover bill. Any waterworks with customers or reservoir in 4 counties other than the county where they are stationed, then has to only charge what that county wants them to charge, and has to collect for them. Can't choose to say, no, this is a contract. You can't force me into no effing contract. You're going to make the Birmingham Waterworks collect sewer for you, and then you're going to tell us how much you can pay. And it only affects the Birmingham Waterworks because that bill they wrote used the same language that Jabos used to expand the board, and that Karn's bill is used and they take the board over. It only affects one waterworks in the entire state, the Birmingham Waterworks, because we are the only one that's got customers in 5 counties, or either got lakes or rivers in 5 counties. So that's what I hope you understand that bill. The county feels that they are being overcharged. I saw Jimmy Stevens in the hall, and he said they charging us too much, but it's state law. I said, Jimmy, it's the law. If you don't agree, then the fee becomes 7.5%. For years, they were doing what was called a joint service agreement, and we had some people when I was up there to study that, and they said that the waterworks were losing money. So the county wants to go back to that joint service agreement. But the state law that was passed after Birmingham made that deal with them said that if you can't agree, it defaults to 7.5% of everything you collect. And it's such a big subject, I can't even begin to talk about it because, and I got to go up there next Wednesday to the Waterworks meeting to find out, because they did pass an agreement right quick before Linda Coleman's bill could pass so they wouldn't be subjected to it. And that was a very punk move. But I got to see the biggest problem I had with the contract with the county, it's written up and it has the language in it that says as bill. So regardless of how much Birmingham Waterworks collect, they had to pay the county for all this bill. If you don't pay your sewer bill, the waterworks got to pay it. I wrote a piece and put it out on my blog, Message to the Black Community, saying, do the Birmingham Waterworks have a sewer bill? And the answer is yes, because they are paying as bill. If they just take that language out, it's probably going to save them about $20 million. Birmingham Waterworks is paying $20 million a year of what they collect, and they paying it back to the county because they got that bad language in there And we've been working trying to get it out. But like I said, we need a movement, and it can't be a movement to where we don't be careful that we protect what we own and straighten it out. We can't be a movement of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We got to make things right. And a lot of times as a people, we like to complain and cuss about what folks ain't doing rather than us being smart enough and strategic enough to handle our own business and handling it without having to run to the TV station and the radio stations that talk about stuff that we own, knowing that the enemy is listening. Carnes used statements that we made. He used statements that Mayor Wolfen had made. He used statements that people were making on Facebook. We got to be more strategic than that. This is the most valuable asset, second only to Alabama Power in the state. We can't be just on there raising hell on Facebook because that's where Carnes had all this information from. Representative Sellers, it knew. But Representative Sellers said, Chairman, you can't use stuff folks don't put on Facebook because any fool know people who gonna put something on Facebook are gonna be the people who dissatisfied. The people who satisfied with service or had some good service ain't gonna come on no Facebook page and dog out the waterworks. So we gotta be more strategic, but I hope that answers the question. Maybe they can say if that answered their question or not.
Well, I'm waiting to see an answer, and they will let me know. I want everybody on the 24th, which is this upcoming Monday, be at Lawson State at 5 p.m. or send a representative at 5 p.m. at the Ward building. She said, yes, it answered the question. Thank you. Okay. This is very important. I'm going to recap real fast. I'm going to go through like I did before. Representative Carnes, HB 177. We call it the Birmingham Water Works Takeover Bill. Passed out of committee 6-5. Brother William Muhammad is on here. He's given us the history. When he was served on the Birmingham Water Works Board, his expertise of things he learned. So these are factual things. In the comments, I put the bill and also the history of the waterworks. You need to read the history of the waterworks because one thing I have not said, when you read the history, the first thing that jumped out at me is when we originally started with the waterworks, how it grew, has grown over time to become the second largest asset in the state of Alabama.
Right.
So it makes you understand the only thing that changed is the color of our skins.
People in charge.
The people that's in charge. When we complain about, when they get on TV and say such and such is getting paid all this money, it's state law that they set up. We didn't set it up.
Right.
That they've been getting paid since that time. We didn't set the laws. They set the laws. Now we have influence now, but we have to set the record straight. And we have to, and I'm saying that because we even have to take up for our politicians who haven't always, sometimes many of us feel hadn't done right. We have not been in power long enough to these things were already set in place is what I'm saying.
Right.
So all we've been doing is following the rules that they have set. But what we're saying is we are in position now. And we will not, we just did a bond in 51, the city of Birmingham, for $20 million. Nowhere in this bill does it say that the state gonna give us any money back. And I don't expect them to. But I think we, as citizens of this whole region, because it's going on in Midfield, Fairfield, and when I'm saying the history, you got to look at the history. It hadn't always been the people that look like us that's empowered now. We were not empowered back then when a lot of these laws and things were in place. But you do have the sons, Jabbo Wagner Jr.,
right?
Their dad, Jabbo Wagner Sr., set this stuff up. And it originally started with the son passing the bill a couple of years ago. Now we call this the full takeover. Right. And we have to stand up. We know there are some issues, but we still have influence as citizens today. Read the bill, and you're going to hear language like immediately.
Right.
Once it's passed, they're gonna put these certain, don't say the people, just say the positions. So you got to be smart enough to know they already have people in mind.
Right.
And it's not gonna benefit us. We are already in the top 10 of water quality. That's what the Birmingham Water Works, that's what the purpose of it is.
Right.
So we got to understand when the other side do all these stories. When you're talking about your sewer, that's the county. That is the county commission.
Right.
When the county commission made the deal that they were going to try to fix the sewer, they didn't go to the Birmingham Water Works and ask the Birmingham Water Works to vote on it. The county commission voted on it.
Right.
So we have to understand we're talking about the Birmingham Water Works and water quality. That's what we should be concerned about. And it's in the top 10 in the nation right now. So all you got to do is pay attention and think that water quality doesn't matter. Call somebody that live in Jackson, Mississippi. Call somebody that live in Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. Mm-hmm. And all these are black cities. Flint, Michigan, Jackson, black cities. So, and it goes back because you helped me out greatly by understanding what you said about Senator Horn. Say if they say it's bad, it's valuable, because how can you have top quality water and have bad management? Them two, that's an oxymoron. They don't go there. If the management was bad, they're supposed to be producing bad water. But we got water, top 10 water in the nation, then the management got to know what they're doing. We might have some issues, but I think a lot of them they are meddling and causing. And so, but anyway, so if there's not any other questions, it's getting about that time, Brother Richard. I enjoyed it. I don't know if y'all coming back on for the rest of the week, but if you do, please keep pushing it like you're doing for the meeting Monday, and let everybody know that hopefully we'll have y'all on live, broadcasting the meeting live.
I'm gonna try my best. I don't, unless right now I can tell you I should be there. I'm gonna go live, but I want citizens to be there because let me say something. They're watching. I know you're watching this, Representative Carnes. I know you watch this, Representative Wagner. We're gonna tell the truth, and I want those of you, I research stuff. I want you to realize these are their words. This is their bill. This is an attack on us. Mm-hmm. So we have to stand up for our rights. We live here. We have something that is an asset for us. I want y'all to understand. So it's the second largest asset in the state of Alabama.
Right.
So Monday night, the 24th, Lawson State, 5 p.m. in the Ward building. Be there. Brother William Muhammad, thank you. If you can, when you get the flyer, if you let me know, we'll share. We'll try to get it out other ways as well. But thank you. I want to just tell you, I learned a lot. That my recap was not Richard Franklin. My recap was William Muhammad, everything that you said.
Yeah.
And we have to give you kudos. Just thank you for having the courage to not just take this stand, but just speak on an issue that once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
And I just thank you.
Appreciate you and Brother Lonnie for all you do. And we doing what we supposed to be doing, man. So it just make me feel good and give me the fuel to keep going. I've been doing this 41 years now. And I can't say I ain't no ways tired, like the old gospel song said, but I can keep going as long as I know there's strong brothers like you and Brother Lonnie out here that keeps me fueled. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank the people who took their time to allow us to share some of this information with their time, because I know it's dinner time. So they are some great people and making great sacrifice.
And please share the video. Those of you that are on Facebook, share the link. Remember, Monday, the 24th, 5 p.m., Lawson State. Just come out and ask your questions and get more information. Yes, Miss Gardner. Yes,
Yeah.
Sherry, yes. It is about the proposed waterworks legislation. Yes, ma'am. HB 177 by Representative Carnes. We've had Brother William Muhammad on tonight. He's given us the history. If you go back in the link on Facebook, I put the history of the Birmingham Water Works. I also put the bill. In the bill, it's the original bill. They've changed the
Right.
governor's part in the bill, but I left it there because the governor, it's such a bad bill that the governor said she didn't want to be involved. It should be a local issue.
Right.
Brother Muhammad and a group of citizens went down. It barely passed out of committee 6-5. But we have to have this meeting on Monday to get more people involved. We also have found out it's the second largest asset in the state of Alabama. We have the top 10 in the nation water quality. So that's my recap of just of everything. But go back and share this video Monday. I'm gonna say it again, Monday, the 24th, before we go. Lawson State, 5 p.m. Ward Building. Thank you, Brother Muhammad. Thank you for everybody that's been on here. We love you. Hope to see you on Monday. And if anything else happens, we will come back, if anything crazy happens before Monday. But thank you, and look forward to seeing you Monday.
All right.